The biz.
Happy May 1st, everyone. I hope you guys had a great weekend. The weather was nice. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of this cooler weather because we're going to be screaming Hades in a couple weeks. It's going to be super hot. Good morning, Nina. Miss you. Hope you get better. So, hope you guys had a great weekend. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all you lovely people out there. Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little tight. I put on some pants this morning that are a little on the tighter side. I think the dryer is against me, working against me these days. So if I do this a little bit, it's because I'm trying to get myself together here. Anyway, it's going to be a pretty quick show this morning, but I do have some things that I want to share with you all this morning. First of all, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be awake. I'm happy to be alive. I'm just in a joyous attitude right now, joyous energy. And I hope that spreads out through the screens, and whoever I encounter today, I hope they feel this joy because it's really deep within, and I love to share it. And this morning, first of all, I have to share this little icebreaker with you guys. I wasn't going to, but it's just been on my heart and on my mind, and so I'm going to share it with you guys because it was a little detrimental for me to read this. So, did you guys know that French fries can be linked to depression? Yeah, French fries. However, experts who study nutrition said that the results are a little preliminary, but just the fact that knowing that French fries, I don't know about y'all, but I love potatoes, French fries may be linked to depression. That's actually depressing in itself, just to know that. But it also did say that the nutrition experts said that it's not necessarily clear whether fried foods are driving mental health issues or if it's just people who are experiencing depression or symptoms of depression and anxiety turn to fried foods. So just think about that next time you're eating French fries. That may not change my French fry habit, but I'm just putting that out there. So don't say you didn't know. But anyway, this morning, May 1st, new season, we are going to talk about seasons and knowing which season that you're in, and particularly knowing what that season can bring to your life. And the first thing that I want to mention is that every season is distinct, right? And if you take a moment, have you ever just sat and thought about what season you're in your life, in your own life? And depending on where you live, every season is different, right? The seasons may be difficult to notice because it may just be like all winter or all summer, depending on where you live. Or it could be significantly different from each other, just depending. But the great thing about the different seasons is that seasons mark a different timing of your life. So for instance, spring marks new life, right? You think about where we're at right now. Flowers are blooming, the old dead leaves have fallen already, and it displays and marks new life. Summer displays steady growth. So things are growing, everything is already set, everything has already come up from what has been planted, and it's at a steady growth. And then fall, the season is a busy harvest, right? Winter is a time of retreat and rest before the cycles of seasons start all over again. The speed of your life is connected to the season of your life that you're in. So The speed meaning, are you in a season of busyness? Are you in a season of transition where something big's about to happen? There's seasons of celebration, right? Marriage, new births, milestones in your life that were achieved. And there are also seasons of rest where you disconnect from life, go on a vacation, or just get away. So I think it's important for us to understand what season we're in, and that everything in our life has a season, right? Everything in our life has a season. Every season in our life has a purpose, and every purpose has an end. So let me repeat that. Everything has a season. Every season has a purpose, and every purpose has an end. And just as every season in our world has its own distinct beauty, every season in life does too. And it's also important to remember that naturally, some seasons are longer than others. I don't know about you, but sometimes I sit back and I think, this season I'm in right now needs to hurry up and end. I need to learn whatever it is I need to learn and keep it pushing, because God, this is a wild one, right? Have you guys ever thought about that before? But it's also important to remember that naturally, some seasons are longer than others. And just like, for instance, I have a lot of single friends, and it may be that they're in they've been single for a long time, and that's actually a season of being single, a newlywed season. I joke around with my husband a lot, and I tell him that we're still newlyweds because we're only 13 years old. We've been married 13 years. So I'm like, that's a teenager, right? I feel like we're still in a newlywed season because we're still learning things about each other that it's like, man, this is new, right? This is brand new. A new parent, a new grandparent, those are all longer. Those feel like longer seasons that you're in. You may be juggling several different projects, or just one, but it's really important to recognize that the season that you're in, to celebrate it. Celebrate the season that you're in. Stop and find the growth that needs to happen in order for you to get out of the season, and take advantage of it and celebrate it. So we're going to break down the seasons and what they mean, because this part was so important to me to understand, because I'm like, okay, there's summer, winter, fall, spring, but what exactly do those seasons mean, right? And what do they bring? So if you're in a spring season in your life, which is current right now, you may be experiencing new life. Maybe new life in your relationship, in your workplace, or even in your family. Just something new life. There's probably a sense of excitement or even a little uncertainty with all the new things happening in your life. But that's what spring brings. It brings new life. And spring can be an incredibly enjoyable season because it's new, it's refreshing, and it's exactly what we need after experiencing a long, hard winter. So just keep that in mind. As you reflect through the week or through the day today, am I in a spring season? Am I experiencing a lot of new life and a lot of bringing birth to a lot of new things in my life? And if you are, then you probably are in a spring season in your life. If you're in a summer season, you're probably working super hard, but you're also enjoying the life that comes with long days. And if you look closely, you'll probably recognize healthy growth in your life. So summer is equivalent to long, hard days, but you're also enjoying you're also enjoying the growth that's happening from those long days that you're putting in, right? And that's a summer season. if you're in a fall season, you're probably enjoying the harvest of hard work, the hard work that you just put into summer, through the summer. Things that you've waited for and that you've prayed for are finally happening. The fruit of your labor is happening, and it tastes so sweet, right? They always say the fruit of your labor can be very sweet. And so if you're in a fall season, then the fruit is being harvested, right? And you're able to enjoy that hard work. It doesn't mean that the work is over. It doesn't mean that you can stop and rest, really, or stop and just stop the healing, per se. I always look at fall as like, man, it's going good right now. Have you ever been in a time of your life where you're like, things are going good, maybe a little too good, but it's because you've probably come off of a long, hardworking summer where you've been putting in the work, you've been healing, you've been growing inside, you're on a journey, and you're like, I can actually start to enjoy those fruits of the labor, but we can't stop. That minute where we're like, man, I'm going to stop trying to heal, I'm going to stop trying to grow, I'm going to stop because I've done all the work. No. Then life comes back and it's like, you're not done yet. There's still some healing that needs to be done. So fall is enjoying the fruits of your labor. It doesn't mean the work is over, and you might actually find yourself busier than you've ever been. But there's a sense that you've been waiting. There's a sense that you've been doing the work and it's being rewarded. So keep that in mind. And then last but not least, there's winter season. And if you find yourself in a winter season, you may be feeling a little disconnected, without the sense of new life and productivity of the other seasons that the other seasons give. Winters can be long and hard. And it's not just, when we're talking about seasons here, we're not talking about the weather. We're talking about things that are happening in our life and where we're at in our life. And the winters are typically the hardest season of it all. I mean, we're closed in. If you want to look at it in a weather sense, we're kind of closed in. Other parts of the world are snowed in. Blizzards are happening. It's cold. It's you can't really go out and get any natural vitamin D. It's one of those things that you can find. People find themselves depressed a lot of the times. They can be long and hard, but never doubt. I also want to remind you, if you're in a winter season, don't doubt that God is doing things, that he's not doing things deep within you, because he is. And before you know it, spring will be right around the corner, and you'll be able to enjoy the fruit, enjoy the flowers and the seeds that have been planted, and enjoy the work that God has been doing within you and inside of you. So if you're in a winter season, just do the work. I want to encourage you, do the work, read the books, get encouraged, take that time, that rest that you may need, call out to God so that he can fill you up, fill your cup. Because the winters sometimes they can be a little scary, or you can look at it like, okay, this is just some time where I need to disconnect and reflect and prepare for what spring is going to bring, right? That's how I kind of like to look at it. And the reality is, every season of life, God does things within us that can't be done in other seasons. So if you're in a season right now, whether it be you're in a spring season or a fall season or a winter season, the season that you're in right now, God is doing things, and he can't do the same thing that can't be done in another season. He's always present and at work within us. That's why no matter what season we're in, there's something to celebrate, because we we should know, and we know that when it comes to what God is doing in us, that's what we can celebrate, because he's working. He's at work with us. He's at work within us. When I reflected this past week on, man, what season am I in right now? I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. Like, I feel like it's a little bit of summer going on, a little bit of winter going on some days. I'm feeling a little springish sometimes. Like, what season am I really in right now? And if I had to, after I was done, like, kind of just meditating on that and finding out, thinking about where I was at in my life, I feel like I just got out of a summer season. The season in my life where it was just working hard, work, not really taking a break in between. I was starting new things, and it was just always something going on, right? And it could have been, and that has been like, I feel like I was in a summer season for maybe about 2 years, where I was just at it, like pushing, going. And it could have been because I had just recently got promoted on the job, and I felt like, man, this is my time to shine, right? This is my time to show them that this is everything I've been working for with this particular company. But it was for about 2 years, I felt like I was in a summer season, and the season did not change. I had to learn what I needed to learn in that season. God didn't allow me to move on to any other season until whatever I learned in that summer was completed. That growth needed to happen in that season. But now I can honestly say that I feel like I am in a little bit of a winter season, and not so much where I'm disconnected, but it's a slower pace. So maybe it's a fall. Maybe I would say a fall season that I'm in right now, where I am enjoying the things that I've worked really, really hard for. I'm not done. I'm not in a rested state per se. I'm just kind of slowing down, enjoying some things that I started, taking a look at the drawing board in my own life, where I'm at, and just kind of enjoying it. So I would encourage you guys today to kind of reflect, like, what season am I in? And what are the things that God is placing in my life that I need to know and that I need to grow with and from, and celebrate it. Celebrate that season that you're in, because I guarantee you, well, one thing you're not going to want to do is fight against it, right? Because whatever it is that whatever reason you're in that season, there's no way that we can get around getting out of it sooner than we want. But I also have a question too for you guys. How do you adapt to the season changes? So once you've been in a season change for so long, how do you, and God says summer's over, right? How do you move on from summer's over in my life, now I'm going to switch. Now my life is being switched to a spring season. And I'll tell you, there's a little downtime that happens, right? There's a little downtime that happens whenever, well, for me it is. For me it happened that way. After being in summer season for 2 years, I had a little bit of a transition, right? A transition from summer to fall, right? I mean, I skipped spring and I went right into fall, and I honestly had to sit myself down. There were some things that happened in my life that kind of sat me down, where it's like, man, some changes need to be made. And so I really feel like that's one way that God gets our attention, in saying, okay, now it's time to switch. It's time to switch seasons here. And you can either go against it, and if you go against it, then I don't think it'll be too good. I don't think it's going to feel good because you're always going to be fighting against that change, and you're always going to be fighting and resisting against that. And people don't resist change. They just resist being changed. And so it's important, I think, for us to just accept it, that there's a change and a shift happening, and there's a new season coming, and we should celebrate it and just ride with it, right? So anyway, like I said earlier, I want to encourage you to kind of reflect this week and think about the season that you're in, celebrate what's happening. I know sometimes there's some things that it's like, oh my goodness, how can I celebrate this, right? How can I celebrate it? But I'm telling you, the rewards in the end will be so much more greater. And also, I had a question for myself too, and I asked, did I prefer some seasons over others? And there was a time where I'm like, I was in a spring season. And of course, I loved that season because it was like, oh my goodness, I was feeling good every day. There was nothing that could get in my way. There was nothing that could detour me from where I was going. I was focused. I was just on one, per se, for lack of a better term. I was doing all the things I needed to do. Life was great. And that was a really good season for me. And I feel like spring, that's a really good season. I don't know about you guys, but spring is a really good season for me. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I told you guys it was going to be a shorter video or shorter show this morning, but it's all good. I hope that I left you with some good things to think about this week, that you guys are empowered, inspired, and think about the season that you're in and reflect on that and celebrate. You know how they say celebrate small victories. Celebrate those small victories. Celebrate those wins, right? Be encouraged. The season that you're in may not last long. It's just whatever it is that has to happen. You just got to let that happen and make the changes that you need to make and push through. So I hope you guys have a great week this week. Happy May. Happy early Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there, grandmothers, bonus mothers, aunts, anyone who is a mother, dog moms even. Happy early Mother's Day to you guys. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Take care.